I think when you are bereaved at a very young age, you feel pain like no other pain.
The future heir to the throne, Prince William, is not who he claims to be. Behind the seemingly perfect gentleman and family man, there is a troubled man who is capable of deceiving and betraying his loved ones.
And actually we had quite an awkward situation because I knew.
The seemingly perfect relationship with his brother Harry was destroyed after he exposed the jealousy and rivalry that has always existed between them. Will spent years making his life a misery and tormenting him to the point of getting physical.
And he snapped and he pushed me to the floor. He knocked me over. Yeah, I cut my back. I didn't know about it at the time.
What atrocities is the prince hiding? What is the true nature of the successor to the crown? These are the secrets that future King William tries to hide. Alleged infidelities and betrayals. William Arthur Philip Lewis was born on June 21, 1982 in London, United Kingdom. He is the first son of King Charles III and the late Princess Diana of Wales. At birth, he became the third grandchild of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. He has a younger brother, Prince Harry, who was born 2 years after him. Being the eldest son of the then Prince of Wales, he was given the title of His Royal Highness Prince William of Wales, meaning the heir to the throne. It is expected that he will assume power much sooner than expected, as his father Charles III, who became king in 2023, was diagnosed with cancer less than a year into his reign. Not only is there a possibility of his passing, but it is also thought that he may abdicate his position and pass it on to the prince. William's upcoming reign fuels expectations, as he is younger than Queen Elizabeth and King Charles III, and belongs to a completely different generation. It is expected that perhaps his reign will be more conciliatory, involving higher risks. One big question remains, whether he will follow all the family traditions and whether he will reconcile with his brother Harry, who has gotten into serious quarrels with the royal family. Will's parents never wanted him and his brother to be educated under the strict educational system of royalty, so they were allowed to live their childhood as normally as possible. The future king attended the most prestigious private preparatory and secondary schools in the country, including Eton College, which has an annual cost of around $53,000. There, William excelled in sports, especially in water polo and swimming. Despite having everything to lead a perfect life, in reality, things at home were far from good. At just 10 years old, his parents split up in a very scandalous way, which left him exposed to the media. However, 5 years later, he experienced one of the worst tragedies of his life. In 1997, his mother passed away in a car accident in France. At the time, Will was on vacation with Charles III and his brother, and it wasn't until the next morning that his father decided to tell him. This tragedy marked him forever. Initially, he refused to walk behind his mother's coffin, as he didn't think he could bear it. However, under pressure from his family, he, along with Harry, grandfather, father, and uncle, walked behind the funeral procession. After the passing, Will stated that he remained in shock for years.
I think when you are bereaved at a very young age, anytime really, but particularly at a young age, I can resonate closely to that. You feel pain like no other pain, but it also brings you so close to all those other people out there who have been bereaved.
In 2000, Will graduated from high school and took a gap year to train with the British Army and volunteer in southern Chile, teaching children and doing household tasks. In September 2001, he got into the University of St. Andrews to study art history. His enrollment had such a big impact that hundreds of girls enrolled at that university just to meet the prince. During his academic years, he achieved the highest grades in the British royal family and was a member of the water polo team. In 2005, he graduated with a master's in art history and honors in geography. In the following years of his life, Will dedicated a lot of time to training to obtain a pilot's license. He was transferred to the Royal Air Force and eventually, he was promoted to the rank of officer. After marrying Kate Middleton, a university classmate, in 2011, Will devoted all of his time to his royal duties and obligations to become the future heir to the throne. His life as a father and his relationship with his wife were applauded and idealized for years. However, there was no such thing as a perfect family. William hid terrible secrets that reportedly involved disrespect towards his wife and compulsive cheating. In 2002, William met his future wife, Kate, when both were studying at the University of St. Andrews. The prince was completely smitten with her after seeing her at a charity fashion show, and the rest is history.
We were friends for over a year first, and it just sort of blossomed from then on. We just spent more time with each other, had a good giggle, had lots of fun, and realised we shared the same interests and just, had a really good time.
However, after a year of relationship, Will put an end to it because he was falling in love with English model Isabella Calthorpe, who never had any interest in him. Nevertheless, realizing he didn't stand a chance with her, he soon got back together with Kate. By 2007, the couple went through a second separation. Due to the long distance and Will's lack of commitment, he decided to break up with her in the worst way, through a phone call. Both took advantage of this breakup to go out and spend time with friends. But it would be William who would take this to the extreme, and for the first time, he showed his tendencies to flirt in a very inappropriate way with girls. Fortunately, after their 2 breakups, the couple came back stronger than ever. In 2011, they married at Westminster Abbey, and 2 years later, they had their first child, Prince George, and in 2015, Princess Charlotte. And even though they seemed to be the perfect family, the truth is that inside the castle, everything was far from being a fairy tale. Will's first scandal happened months before the birth of his child. The prince had gone out partying with some friends, and after dancing and drinking, he fell and lost one of his front teeth. At that time, Kate was very advanced in her pregnancy, so his lack of responsibility was criticized, in case his child was born that very night. The controversy was handled very well, as few media outlets found out about it, but a worse scandal would haunt their lives years later. In 2017, Will traveled to a ski resort in Switzerland, while Kate looked after their children. And images of him being very close to Sophie Taylor went viral. Then, that same night, Will went out dancing at a nightclub, but he wasn't alone. In the videos, the prince was seen dancing with a mysterious woman, with his hand on her waist. Even though her identity and what exactly happened were never known, media outlets quickly claimed that he had been unfaithful to Kate, and that the Duchess was very angry. However, the worst scandal of all took place in 2019. International media outlets began to report that Will had been cheating on his wife with Rose Henry, one of Kate's best friends. Although the accusations could never be confirmed, years later, Will spoke out through his lawyers, who said, "Besides being false and harmful, speculation about our client's private life also constitutes a violation of his privacy, according to Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights." However, shortly after, it was confirmed that the mysterious woman he had spent the night with on his trip to Switzerland was none other than Rose. Almost at the same time, his brother Harry released a very revealing documentary, which included claims that hindered his attempts to build a reputation of an innocent man.
They were happy to lie to protect my brother. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect us.
In 2023, these rumors resurfaced in the public eye. The prince had spent Valentine's Day away from Kate to be with Rose. Some media outlets claimed that they were seen enjoying a romantic dinner at a restaurant, and that the florist, where Will used to buy roses for Kate, had revealed that he had not been there for some time. By the end of that same year, journalist Amit Scobie released a book titled Endgame: Inside the Royal Family and the Monarchy's Fight for Survival, in which he made tough statements regarding Will's infidelity. In the book, the author stated that Christian Jones, former secretary of the royal household, had been desperately trying to stop the rumors for years. In an attempt to prevent the truth from coming out, he decided to sell stories about Prince Harry in order to divert all attention. This confirmed his brother's words in the documentary. Not only was Will's personal life a complete mess, but his relationship with his brother hid a story of dark jealousy and an eternal rivalry that even led to physical fights. For decades, Harry and William were always portrayed by the media as inseparable best friends. It was said that they were partners in crime who bonded after the loss of their mother. However, in 2020, everything crumbled after Harry and his wife Meghan Markle withdrew from the royalty forever. But the prince was not going to leave without revealing several secrets that confirmed the murky and tense relationship he had with his brother. In January 2023, Prince Harry released a book titled In the Shadow, in which he stated that between him and Will, there had always been jealousy and a constant and exhausting sense of competition. Harry said that the whole family, including their parents and grandparents, treated Will as the heir and referred to him as the spare. These names established a clear dynamic where William always got the best things as a child, that is, the biggest room and more attention from their father. Since we were kids, Will always took that position above all. I have to go to him and kneel down explicitly, directly, and officially. If not, the heir does not help me. Even as adults, Will was allowed to choose his uniform for his wedding, while Harry was forced to wear certain clothes that he did not want. William's brother also recalls that his teenage years were very lonely and painful after the death of Diana, Princess of Wales. They had a secret code where they couldn't talk about their mother except in extreme situations. Furthermore, when Harry grew up and attended the same secondary school as Will, instead of supporting him and joining him to go through that difficult stage together, he told him that he didn't want to be seen with him in public.
Yeah, and at the time it hurt. I couldn't make sense of it. I was like, what do you mean? We're now at the same school. Like, I haven't seen you for ages. Now we get to hang out together? He's like, no, when we're at school we don't know each other. Sibling rivalry.
In 2009, Harry and Will lived together in a cabin while training to become pilots. Initially, the experience was quite fun for Harry, but everything changed after Will gave an interview complaining and telling lies about him.
Well, bearing in mind I cook him and feed him basically every day, I think he's done rather well. He does do a bit of the washing up, then he leaves most of it in the sink and then it comes back in the morning and I have to wash it up.
Oh, the lies.
Will also claimed that his brother used to snore and that kept him awake all night. In his book, Harry talked about his reaction and said, "I turned and looked at him. Are you kidding? I cleaned up what he messed up and didn't snore. Plus, our rooms were separated by thick walls. So even if I snored, there was no way he could hear me." It wasn't until 2019 that they had a serious altercation that ultimately completely destroyed their relationship. According to Harry's memoirs, Will was never supportive of his romance with Meghan Markle. That's why he had to endure derogatory comments from him on several occasions. On one occasion, Will called Meghan a very difficult and rude person, which led to a very heated argument.
He had a few issues which were based not on reality, and I was defending my wife. We moved from one room into the kitchen, and his frustrations were growing and growing and growing. He was shouting at me, I was shouting back at him, and he snapped, and he pushed me to the floor. He knocked me over, I landed on the dog bowl.
You cut your back?
Yeah, I cut my back. I didn't know about it at the time.
Although Will tried to apologize, Harry kicked him out of his home, and months later, he stepped back from the British royal family. Their relationship never went back to normal. William is undoubtedly a much more promising future king compared to his mother or Charles III. Although he has always presented himself as an exemplary family man, even people like him hide horrible secrets and a complicated attitude that sooner or later always comes to light. And what about you? Did you know about Prince William's true colors?